Nope, you're not seeing things. That's 4 men stealing a dolphin. But who are they? Where are they? And why would anyone want to steal a dolphin? Well, we are going to have to start this story from the beginning. And it's quite the story.
My name is Captain Pete Bethune. I'm a conservationist and I live here in Mahirangi West.
There are a number of places that you might recognise Pete from, aside from being an outspoken conservationist, boat captain, published author, and reality TV star. Pete's journey actually began in the most unlikely of places.
When I left school, I got a job in the oil industry. And then after a while, I kind of had enough of that and came back to New Zealand, got married, had a couple of kids. But in the back of my mind, there remained this unease about our dependence on fossil fuels. And it took quite a few years for me to figure out what I was going to do about it.
Pete went from being an oil rig engineer to launching Earthrace, a boat designed to promote conservation around the world.
We're going to build the coolest looking boat in the world and set a record to circumnavigate the globe and fuel it on biodiesel fuel made entirely from waste cooking oils. I put everything that I owned into that boat and everything that my wife owned as well. Bless her.
Pete and his crew left port in 2007 on his new wave-piercing trimaran. But the first attempt was a complete disaster.
It was a series of failures and letdowns is what it felt like.
The vessel was shot at, the boat was falling to pieces, and a nighttime collision resulted in the tragic death of a Guatemalan fisherman. The record bid was aborted. But in 2008, a determined Pete began a second attempt, an effort that proved successful.
When we finally got the record, it was like all of those things off, all that weight gone from my shoulders.
But after the highs and lows of such an adventure, Pete struggled to settle down again, and his marriage fell apart.
I've been on this amazing boat for 4 years, travelling the oceans and seeing all the problems, overfishing, the bottom trawling, the dynamite fishing, the cyanide fishing, all of these things I started to see on this extraordinary boat called Earthrace. And it got under my skin. And it was like, what am I going to do now? It's a little bit like the Matrix. Once you take the red pill, it's very hard to go back and work 9 to 5 for someone else. So I decided go to Antarctica with Sea Shepherd and wreak a bit of havoc on the Japanese whalers.
Joining Sea Shepherd Conservation Society was an intense shift in direction for Pete. Earthrace was painted black and renamed A.D. Gill, and Pete was now headed in a direction that would change his life forever.
The Japanese whaling does really piss me off. It's in New Zealand and Australia's backyard. They claim it's scientific research. There's no science going on, just simply commercial whaling and drag. But trying to stop them is not very easy.
Pete quickly shook his image as the new kid on the block and grew a reputation for being a controversial rebel willing to risk everything. He even used homemade potato guns to shoot beer bottles full of red paint at the sides of opposing vessels, symbolizing blood. These techniques divided Sea Shepherd's crew, but they were effective.
We pissed them off for about a month. Looking back, we were pretty nuts. Crazy to go doing all that stuff.
But Pete's most useful asset was about to be lost.
Whoa. It's funny in life how your journey can change in the blink of an eye.
Oh my God. Wow. They hit it? Do they?
I think my life was always going to be different after that day.
Pete, we got you inside. We're here. We're ready when you are, sir.
In a move that shocked the world, a furious Pete set out to avenge the sinking of his boat.
The plan became get aboard the Shonen Murray No. 2 that had run my boat over. Cheekily give them an invoice for $3 million to replace the boat that they'd run over, in the hope that they would take me back to Japan as a prisoner. It'd be a big news story. But in life, you've got to be careful what you wish for.
Pete was arrested and taken back to Japan, but he had no idea what was waiting for him.
Human rights abuse against human Japanese!
They arrest me and they handcuff me and they shackle my feet together. It became a circus. You know, I wanted to get some media attention in Japan. Holy shit, the media was massive. There was 8 helicopters in the air and the choppers are really, really close. And I can't see them because they've put this stupid blue hood over my head. And I said to the guys, as they handcuffed me, I said, you don't need to bother with all this. I went to so much trouble to be caught. I'm not going to try and escape.
Pete had got his wish and was sent to Japan's maximum security detention centre, the ironically named Fuchu Prison.
The Japanese are pretty pissed off with me. Pretty pissed off, and I think they decided to make an example of me. And that's okay. The world woke up to Japanese whaling and it ended up in a court case that Japan lost. So you got to take your small victories in conservation when they come along. One thing's about prison, you have a lot of time to think about things. And while I was there, I'd figured out what I was going to do when I got out. I decided to form a team of hardcore conservationists through employing former military guys and the hope being that they would become the toughest team of conservationists there's ever been. You know, what could possibly go wrong? But quite a lot, actually.
Pete took his hardcore team of conservationists firstly to Africa with the goal of exposing the brutal Namibian seal cult. But to do so, he would have to ask his newly formed team to break into a heavily guarded diamond mine.
Just so you guys know, African jails are not a friendly place. Generally, one or two things happen. You don't come out, or you come out with HIV.
There was a lot of dissension in the ranks over this is nuts. What, you want to do what? You want to break into a diamond mine? And so some of the military guys wanted nothing to do with it. But there was one guy, Jack Walden, a Kiwi bloke, who fronted up and he said, yeah, I'll go with you. Tell you what, if you pull this off, it'll go down in history. We spent the next 4 days dodging patrols inside this diamond mine, trying to film the seal clubbing. I did start to question, what the hell am I doing here? You know, Jack and I were on the edge on this mission. And then on the last day, amazingly, they came straight in front of us.
Oh my God. This is really hard to watch.
Brutal, horrible. I remember Jack Walden, he burst into tears.
Hey brother, good job man.
Thanks bro, team effort.
The first mission was a success. Pete's days of being an oil rig engineer and family man were now well behind him. He raised $1 million and headed to Costa Rica with a team of over 30 people.
I've got these big buff former military guys. I've got film crew running around with cameras. And then I've got a group of volunteers who are all helping to make this thing happen. And very random.
His team managed to prosecute an illegal fishing vessel, notorious for bottom trawling in a local marine reserve. Then, a string of success with illegal gold miners and turtle poachers.
What are you doing? Just dump them in there. Bullshit.
But the final torturous 3-day journey to catch illegal shark finners on Cocos Island 550 kilometers offshore, was what finally broke Pete's team.
The boat's falling apart. We're all in a lot of discomfort. Pretty sure I'm very dehydrated right now. Anytime I drink anything, I just throw it up.
Hard campaign, really hard. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever done, for sure. You learn a lot about yourself and your crew and projects like that. I'd push these people right to their very limits and had a few leave partway through campaign because of it, and a few of them thankfully stuck with us right through. But we had some amazing successes.
Pete had risked himself and his team, but he was determined as ever and decided Asia was next.
We targeted the rhino poaching in Sumatra, illegal logging in South Sumatra, the smuggling of wildlife in the Philippines. That includes like the pangolin, forest turtles and sea turtles, cyanide fishing, dynamite fishing. But one of the greatest challenges was to steal a dolphin out of captivity. What happens in Indonesia? You have these resorts that go and get dolphins from fishermen. They put them in a tiny little swimming pool, and then tourists come along and pay $20 to go and pet them or swim with them or take selfies. When I told the team that we were going to steal a dolphin, a fair chunk of them wanted nothing to do with it. And there was disbelief in quite a few of them that we were crazy enough to go and do this. So you're going to go into a place that has armed guards, steal a dolphin from under their noses, and then you've got to take it somewhere and rehabilitate. You can't just put it back into the wild. What could possibly go wrong? Turns out the dolphin doesn't want to be caught, so it's going round and round in circles. Eventually, 4 guys clamber on the boat carrying this massive dolphin. This is amazing. I couldn't believe we'd pulled it off. We'd already set up what's called a sea pen, put the dolphin in there. We had a dolphin expert who was there to give us advice in terms of what to do. And then after a period of time, released it back in the wild. And of all of my missions, that is the one that I probably have the most satisfaction from. To rescue a dolphin out of captivity, that was pretty special. I'm blessed to do what I do, very blessed. Like every day I get to work on stuff I believe in, and I'm very lucky to do that. But it's not an easy gig. In the long term, I'm optimistic. I think we are going to finally save this planet, but there's a lot of work to be done. Just about making smart decisions and what we do in everyday life.